Good morning, everyone. It is a Friday, and I've got more feed for the animals. It's not as cold as it has been the last couple days, but let me just tell you, we got some of that the hurricane that came through, and I hope y'all are all safe who were affected by it. But we got a lot of rain. Like, look at this wheelbarrow. You see how high that is? It takes multiple rains for that thing to fill up. And it's almost full. So, it was raining for a long time. And I came out here to feed the animals, and it was a complete mess. Like, you see that? That was just a water puddle. And I went all the way down there. And this was basically just a mud pit. Like, you couldn't walk anywhere without getting any splish splash in your shoes. So that was fun. And then you came over here, and this became basically a mud pit too, and it became a creek. Like, water came rushing down through here and would go off there and then go into the woods. And then there was another bit right here. You can see how muddy it is right here and how dangerous it is. But it was messy. And I also came out here with an umbrella and took food to them in the pouring rain. It was pouring so hard last night. Well, not last night. Yesterday evening. It's pretty cloudy over there, but I think most of the storm has passed. That, or we're in the center and we're about to get hit some more. Because I'm looking over there and it doesn't look like it's particularly cloudy. We didn't suffer any real big damage, thankfully. But I think we maybe lost a couple tree limbs, see? Because, like, that's over here and there's tree limbs around here. And there's no trees down and we have power, so that's good. But I know there's a lot of people out there who don't have power right now. And I send them my best wishes and best thoughts. See how muddy this looks? Let's see. It's kind of dried up. But, yeah. Remember in the movie Dinosaur that Disney came out with? And all the dinosaurs are looking for food, or for water actually, and so they finally get to this large open space, and they stick their foot in the sand, and water gushes out, and so they can get water, because they stomp all around and get the water that comes out of the ground. Well, that's what it's doing here. If I step my foot in deep enough, there's just a little bit of water that comes out. So I don't think it rained all night, but it rained definitely enough to make sure everything we have was drowned. Everything, as far as I know, is safe. So it doesn't look like we lost any animals, but there was not much we could do anyway. Most of them just stuck in that barn, or they were stuck in there. And then just a couple others were just, I'm gonna stay out, get wet, who cares? That was mostly the dogs and whatnot, though. I half wonder if our creek is flooded back there. The last time it flooded pretty bad around here. That creek didn't flood. But when Hurricane Michael came through 2 years ago, it definitely flooded back there. Like, I literally walked down there and it was sloshing every step I took, and I had to avoid some pretty big puddles. And I went over into our backyard over there, and there's a dirt pathway that some neighbors have always used ATVs on, and that was like 3 foot of water. So that just shows you how much rain we got. But when we got that rain, it was like really super hot, and then all of a sudden Michael came, and then it was 40 degrees from then on. So I'm half wondering if Hurricane Sarah was Hurricane Sally. It was Hurricane Sally. I wonder if that's gonna repeat what it did 2 years ago, because although it's not as chilly as the other day, it's still only like 60 degrees. Then again, the sun just came up, so who knows? Where is the sun? Nah, it's behind the trees. There's no point in trying to find it, because I would have to go pretty far down there. Just from a glance, it doesn't look like the creek's flooded, but who knows? It hasn't flooded in a while, even when we got a lot of rain in May and June and July. But this year has been pretty... Hello, duck. Duck just flew over from there, out of the fence, and landed over there. Look at the rooster over there. He's not the mean one, but the mean one, I was recording a vlog the other day, and of course he decided he was gonna attack me. So, in defense, I kicked him, and maybe he won't mess with me again. But I see that on the chicken forums and whatnot, that it's probably not the best idea to kick a rooster who's attacking you, but what else are you gonna do? The little snout was attacking me, so what? Are you just gonna sit there and be like, hey, just rip up my leg? It gave me some pretty tiny scratches, but he still scratched me up a little. We need to get rid of him as soon as we can, but this is not the greatest point in time to sell chickens and whatnot. Because it always seems like this year, around this point in time, is when people don't have a lot of money. And I'm not exactly sure why, but going to the auction, we've had basically zero luck with getting any sort of a good deal out of the birds we sell. Like, we had some bourbon red turkeys, and I can tell you a million stories about how much I disliked those turkeys, but I'll spare you. But those turkeys, long story short, they killed a rooster and almost killed another, and so we decided we were going to sell them. But they were full-size bourbon reds, and they didn't sell for very much. But I've been there in the past at this auction, which is in kind of like mid-southern Virginia. I don't know where it would be, but it's not... It's like a leap and a skip away from Richmond, but anyway, I've been there in the past, and I've seen bourbon red turkeys sell for like $75, and we had two. Sure, one of them didn't have the prettiest tail feathers, but those can grow back, and they only sold for like $40 together, so that was a loss, honestly. Turkeys have been a big loss on this farm. The feed stores don't tell you how tough turkeys and chickens can be to survive. I've been reading more and more, and it seems like most people tend to agree that turkeys shouldn't even be outside until they're 4 months old, because for something about their legs. And so we've probably had 30 turkeys in our lifetime, and we don't have any anymore, because most of them died as babies. It didn't seem to matter what we tried to do, they just died. And we have just decided to not do turkeys. We had the male turkeys for too long, but there were four. There were 4 turkeys, 2 males and 2 females. Excuse me. And even the hens were annoying, because the hens were particularly they're just gonna follow you everywhere. And so if you're trying to do anything, they're always up in your space. And I like that. I like that they're friendly. But there comes a point in time where you need to get something done and you can't because the turkeys are just all over you. And then the males, oh man. Male turkeys are creepy when they don't have anything else to mate with. That's all I'll say about that. Where's Emma? She's less hyper today. Who wants to bet she's gonna chase chicken? What you doing, Emma? Emma? Okay, bye. Crazy dog. I'm gonna go ahead and get another scoop of feed on camera and try and carefully make my way over to the dog run, because it's still super muddy, and I had to be super careful because it seems to me that only Crocs I can wear, and Crocs are not the grippiest pair of shoes, I'll tell you that. I didn't slip when I went and fed them yesterday, but I could have easily fallen and gotten soaking wet. But I didn't, because I was extra careful. And if you're not really careful here, and these shoes, you will slip right on all this stuff, and you'll come crashing down, and it's gonna hurt. Got a bunch of feed. Put that there for the second, and put the lid back on. So I can't say our streak of not losing chickens in a week has gone well, because we did sadly lose one of Mama Banty's chicks. They were out inside the garage for 2 days, and it definitely seemed to me like one of her babies got trampled, which is unfortunate, because until then they were all super healthy. But I figured it was bound to happen at some point. It's just sad because I know both of the bantams that are in there like to keep good protection of those chicks, and so they're always with their chicks, and all of the chicks are always with them. So I knew when I didn't see the 5th one, I knew it was somewhere. I just had to find where. And it was trampled, unfortunately. Because you know how it is. When birds are trapped by themselves in there, the roosters like to fight. And so certain roosters will just chase roosters around in there, just like Phoenix used to. But he would stop. Those roosters in there, they will just keep chasing the other rooster or the other hens. And I know for a fact they have run over those little chicks before. So, at least for now, we're not going to let them back out of that cage, because at least for my sake, I want to protect all of those little babies left. Thankfully, I was really hoping it wasn't the chick we ended up losing. I was really looking forward to seeing what it would look like, but it was the most plain looking one we had of all 4. And I know that sounds terrible, because we've had so many chicks in the past, and even though it was half bantam, I can assure you it was half bantam, it still was pretty much black and white, like a barred rock. So I don't know who bred with who to make that chick, but that chick doesn't exist no more, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, there was another one that looked just like him. Although, as they grew up, they both started to look a little different. But the three ones I'm more concerned about is there's one that looks like an Americana, but it's a Bantam. And the other two just are really interesting looking because one of them's gray. It has a grayish hue, so I don't know. I'm thinking it's a Bantam mixed with a lavender. See, there's a lavender up there grooming herself right now, but I think one of the male Bantams probably mated one of them, and that's what produced that chick. Look at this. Look at all the mud. It's not usually like this, although it's constantly, it has that same color constantly, but usually it's dry. When it's actually muddy, that's when it's dangerous. Okay, so I'm done talking, so now I will go actually feed these birds. And they don't need water because it rained plenty enough. And they have plenty of water still. I like it when nature decides to help you out. Say hi. 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 They say hi. So there's not much I have to say else, I guess. I still haven't, it's like 7:30, so I haven't heard back from Food Lion, but hopefully I should hear back from them today. So who knows? I'm thinking of selling this little chicken right here, the black crested white Polish. And then there's a white and black bird over there. That's an Appenzeller Spitzhauben. And my friend from church just recently lost 2 birds we sold to her, and they were her favorite 2 birds. So it's really sad. So I wanna give her some birds that kind of were like the 2 she lost. One of them was a speckled Sussex, and unfortunately I don't have any of those anymore because I sold one, and then the last one that was alive bit the dust. Don't know what happened to it. But I had 3 younger ones that never made it to adulthood because they all disappeared. And I haven't seen a trace of them since. So I'm thinking they went into the woods and something got them. Just like what happens to most of our birds, honestly. So, but the other one, her name was Dolly, and she was such a sweet little bird. She was a silky bantam. Yes, a silky bantam. And she was on our property when we had like 150 chickens at the time. It was really hard to keep up with everyone, and so she kind of just got left. And she wasn't ignored, but she was not paid attention to the most. So we sold her to our friend, and for maybe a year and a half now, or a year or something like that. What you yelling about? Oh, the guinea does not like Emma. But little Dolly, she was probably like 1 pound, and she was a little white ball of fluff. And she, from her stories, my friend's stories, she was super sweet to her. Would come up to her and get petted, want to be petted and be held. And at least for me, I've never ever had a chicken who wanted to be held and pet. It's a shame she's gone though, because she was a sweet little thing. She wasn't the prettiest bird I've ever had, but she was definitely something special. So I want to do something special for my friend, because I know both of them miss her. Her and her husband. They were pretty devastated when she died. And it just sucks because it happened at the same time too. Because one of their friends was watching for them while they were away on a trip, and something must have gotten in there and gotten the Sussex and the Silky. And so now they're both gone, at least last I heard. There's always a chance that it's a fluke and your chicken can come back, but I highly doubt it. It's a shame. They both take care of their animals really well. And so, I know Little Dolly and Little Speckles, as they called her, they were really well treated. And so, I feel happy giving one of my birds to her, because honestly at this point, I'm just kind of used to the fact that the birds I do have are probably going to go missing, and there's not much we can do about it. Although we were joking on Sunday, like, hey, I'll give you a bird so it cannot die at my house, so it can die at your house. Die here or there. Oh well. It's sad, but we joke a lot, just to get through some of the more rough things. Hey dude, say hi to the camera. I like him. He's interesting. He's only ever attacked me when I was holding a chicken, so he's never attacked me for any other reason. But the one in there, his brother, his like half brother or whatever, they're siblings because they came from the same hatch. His brother just attacked you to attack you, and I don't. Roosters, I'll tell you what. You either get one good one that dies, or you get 10 bad ones that somehow survive. It's always like that. You either get one really good one or a couple bad ones before you get another good one, and that good one goes up and disappears. We babied that boy, and he decided he's just gonna ditch us. I'm joking, of course, because I don't think it was his choice, considering he hasn't shown back up. But Phoenix, at least from me to you, I miss you, buddy. You were the best rooster we ever had, and I only can hope we get someone that's even close to how good you were. Sometimes chicken farming is tough. I'm sure a lot of you can understand that. But anyway, I guess in a way I was kind of on my soapbox. It wasn't my intention, but sometimes you just gotta be truthful and honest about how you're feeling. Cause you can't let stuff build inside of you and let it get you down. See, with Phoenix especially, a couple weeks prior to his going missing, I was actually heartbroken that he was pretty damaged from being caught in the fence. But I half expected him to disappear, and so when he eventually did disappear, it didn't affect me as hard as it would if he hadn't got injured and he just disappeared. But I know it's really sad to say, but I think most of the chickens left here I don't really love that much anymore, because I don't want to get too attached to a bird and then be heartbroken when it dies. So, what else can you do? Get heartbroken every time a chicken dies? No. When you've had 500 chickens over your lifetime in this farm, and there's only, 55 left? You get used to it. Anyway, pretty good video. I think it'll be interesting for some of y'all, because I know a lot of you out there are feeling some of the same things I do. Because it can be pretty heart-wrenching to own chickens, especially if you only have a few, and some predator goes in there and just completely decimates your flock. We've never had that happen here because we've always had so many that these predators just come in and pick off 1 or 2 or 3 in a week. But there are many people who lose like their entire flock just because of one raccoon or one ferret or one possum or a bear or whatever else. So for those people who aren't doing super well with chickens, I know how you feel, and my heart goes out to you. Just pick yourself up off the ground and keep going. You'll get chickens again, and you'll find ways to make sure they're more protected and more loved than the ones you had prior. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So everyone who was affected by Hurricane Sally, please be safe. You're in my prayers, and I love y'all. Take care. Monty and Steadfast Vlogs out.